Suffolk. Our morning word game, Breakfast Scramble, will be here in a few minutes, but let's head to RAF Lakenheath next today. Dozens of campaigners have set up base outside Lakenheath, the site of a round-the-clock vigil. It's going to be there for the next 10 days. They started walking from Norwich on Saturday. They arrived at Lakenheath yesterday afternoon, and these people are really concerned about the proposed return of nuclear weapons. The UK and NATO will neither confirm nor deny that this is happening. Darren Rosier, travel cupboard Darren, is at the airbase for us this morning, chatting to some of those people who are spending the next 10 days there. Morning, Darren.
Good morning, Wayne. I'm outside Gate 1 of RAF Lakenheath. Just to the right of the gate is where the camp is set up. There's a large section of grass there, and there's a number of banners that have been put up on the wire fence that caused the barrier between that patch of grass and the actual base itself. There's one here that says nuclear weapons are banned. There's another one that advertised the movement for the abolition of war. Abolish war, it says at the bottom of that. There's an LGBTQ flag with peace on it. No US nukes. There's another one with a picture of Britain and the American flag torn in half. And also the Quakers as well. Quakers are involved. Quakers for Peace. There's a small banner up for them as well. So I'm joined here by Angie Zelter, who's one of the organisers from Lakenheath Alliance for Peace. Also by Sue Rice, who's chair of the Norwich and District CND. That's the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, which is part of the LAP. And Marcus Armstrong, who is a campaigner. Good morning, all. I understand you walked all the way down from Norwich to here. Is that right?
Some people walked as far as Heatherset on the Saturday, and then we actually got different ways of getting to Thetford to meet on Sunday, and then we walked from Brandon yesterday.
It's quite a long walk. You must be quite fit.
I feel really tired, actually, because the first day was 10 miles. But the main reason why we didn't walk all the way was because some of the road was very dangerous and we didn't want anyone to be hurt on the roads. The cyclists did the whole route.
Oh, wow. OK. So you're here for the next 10 days. We've heard this thing about the possibility of nuclear weapons returning to Lakenheath for quite some time now. What were your thoughts when you first heard that?
I thought, oh no, we're going to do it all over again, because there was an amazing campaign in the 80s and 90s, and in 2008, so it was over a long period of time, we got rid of the US nuclear weapons, and a lot of local people came in and out of the base. There were people on the runways and all sorts of things, loads of direct action. It just wasn't worth their while, and there was not so much of a nuclear scare going on then. So to have them coming back now with NATO making horrendous noises about everyone who's got their nuclear weapons should show them, so that Russia and China know we have them, and there's a new nuclear arms race going on. It's a terrible time to be bringing them back. And this is not an RAF base. This is a USAF base. We have absolutely no control over when they will use those nuclear weapons, and even the conventional weapons that they're using in wars all around the world are things that most people don't even know about, and would be appalled to know about how many wars we're involved in.
Yeah, you hit on an important point there, the fact that the world seems to be, or appears to be, a more dangerous place now. There's a lot more authoritarianism going on in other countries, and the concern, I suppose, is that if they strike at us first, we've got to be seen to be having a worthwhile defence that we can use. What are your thoughts on that?
You can't use these nuclear weapons. They're targeted against cities. I mean, they're going to kill millions of people. This whole idea of deterrence, it isn't even working. I mean, there's proxy wars going on all over the time. We haven't stopped all the wars since the Second World War. What we've done is we have created enemies. At the end of the Second World War, we had a chance of Russia, or the Soviet Union it then was, becoming a friend. Instead, we wanted an enemy, and China has now become an enemy. We are building our enemies. You don't get peace by supplying arms to repressive regimes, making all the NATO forces surround Russia, nuclear weapons pointed into Russia, going around China, putting all your weapons there. Who's got the most military bases in the world in the most foreign countries? The USA. Okay, so we are in control of whether the industrial, process of selling arms all around the world carries on or not. And what we seem to have is corporations that are pushing our governments into selling more and more arms. That is not the way for a peaceful world. And I think everybody here is really concerned about climate change, biodiversity loss, lack of water, all sorts of things that are happening to our world. The whole ecosystem is going down because we can't control our nations. It's not the enemy nations, Russia and China, we should be worried about. We have a responsibility for what our nations are doing, and we are fomenting war all around the world.
Some interesting points there, Angie. Marcus, you're going to be here for the next 10 days. What do you hope to achieve by the end of that 10 days?
Well, we want to raise awareness that this is happening, and we want to act in solidarity together. And we want the base to know that we are a presence, we're a new organisation, we're not going to let this just happen without a noise. And we're going to highlight the fact that these weapons are illegal, they are immoral, they're destabilising. If you ask people what they need to be safe and secure, they'll say food, shelter, education, health. They're not going to say nuclear weapons. And if you look what happened at 9/11, all America's nuclear arsenal didn't help them a bit, did it? No deterrence whatsoever. I mean, that's the new method of warfare for many groups. They're not going to attack with a big army, another big army. They're going to do what happened on 9/11. And what do you say then that was the worth of all these nuclear weapons? I don't have the answer. But for me, they are fundamentally and basically illegal, immoral, destabilising. They're taking money away from all the things which would stabilise and build community, which is education, healthcare. And on a personal level, you know, I'm 64 now, but I've got children and grandchildren growing up. What's the world going to be like in 10, 20, 30, 40 years? What's going to happen? And I fear for that, and I want to act now for that future, for the people in front of me, like my friends and family and my own children, but for everyone.
You're delivering a letter to the base commanders at the main gate later today. What does it say?
It's telling the base commanders why we're here, basically, and asking them not to bring those weapons here. We did actually write a letter to them in March. We delivered it, and eventually we spoke to the RAF commander, although he doesn't have much influence, I'm afraid. He actually had to drive into the base. He's not based there. He said that he would hand it to the US commanders, and that we would get a reply, but we never did get a reply. I've reminded them twice that we've sent the letter and not had a reply. And so we're trying again. We want them to know why we're here, and that we do not want nuclear weapons to come to this base.
How confident are you that you'll get your message across this week?
I'm very confident, actually, because as we've been leafleting in the villages and towns as we've been walking by, we've had loads of people saying that they don't want nuclear weapons here. And one guy, when we were walking yesterday, said, "Oh, we've been waiting years for you to come. Well done, welcome. Yeah, we don't want nuclear weapons here." So, yeah, the main point about being here for this length of time is it gives local people a chance to come and meet us, understand all the arguments and find out, you know, what's going on here. There'll be some really interesting workshops, and it will build a campaign so that hopefully then our new government will take notice of us.
Angie Zolter, who's one of the organisers from Lakenheath Alliance for Peace, Sue Rice, who's chair of the Norwegian District Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, and Marcus Armstrong, who's a campaigner who's joining the protests here over the next 10 days. Thank you all for joining me this morning from RAF Lakenheath Gate 1. Wayne, it's back to you.
Thanks, Darren. We did ask RAF Lakenheath for comment about the protest, and they've told us we are aware of the protest scheduled to occur outside RAF Lakenheath, and we respect the right of all people to protest, and our hope is that should individuals invoke their right to demonstrate, that they do so peacefully and safely.